Everyone, welcome to the video, and this will be our first video of weekend resource series. And the idea behind creating this series is to share all the resources which I found useful for the backend and DevOps folks who are looking for good resources to learn those concepts. I'm also exploring the same field, and I really interested in learning protocols, network, and at the protocols level what actually happens and how things works. So you can expect some good resources from this series, so keep an eye on it. And let's start video with our first resources. So the first resources is like cpu.land. It's a website. I will put all the resources links into a description, so you can go through it and you can learn from them. So it's created by Leximatic and Hack Club. So the idea behind creating this behind these resources is that you get understanding of the hardware and OS stuff, how actually hardware and OS work together, and how you operate things on the software level. So if I ask you a simple question, can you uh, do you know what exactly happens when you start a CPU or a laptop? What is the internal processes will go on, and then how it started your CPU, how you will see that green line turn on and your Mac or Windows laptop, like it starts. So if you know, it's good. If you don't know, you will get that answer in this series. Not just that answer, you will get more from that this resources, which is I found really useful. If you go to chapter 1, so it's all about how the computers are architected, like hardware how works, like software and how processors works, operating system level, RAM, memory optimizations, and processor, like a lot of things you will learn. And as a backend developer, not as a backend developer, but in general, if you're a software developer, and you should know like how things works actually in a hardware and the software level, how operating system operate with hardware, how it's work between hardware and software, what are the different things you can configure, and a lot of stuff. So there are multiple chapters you can go through it, and it's really helpful. Once you read this resources or these articles, you'll just fall in love with this. Is like really well explained. Someone who is really interested in reading those things will found it's really useful. The next thing is learning center from the Cloudflare. To get these resources, I personally read DDoS and CDN articles, which are found really useful. You can go through it, like about learning DNA, SSL and performance, and SSL certificate. There are so much things you can learn from here, and it is really important. Like once you understand hardware and software stuff, you should know like how network protocols actually works, how DDoS attacks happens. Like while building a backend application or any backend for your app, for your software or web application, you should know how people should not attack you, specifically for the DDoS attack. So you will get understanding of the OSI model, how each layer actually works by one, and this is easy to remember, easy to think, like how physical layer actually works, how actually data link layer works, and this stuff. So it is really good resources for anyone who want to understand protocols and how to build a, what are the things you have to keep in mind while building a backend applications. And the next thing, that Docker. Docker is something really interesting technology that I'm exploring, and I found really well. But I haven't I haven't dived in a depth of Docker. I am just still a good student of Docker technology. I'm still learning it. But this resources, like it's created by the Farhan. Big shout out to him. While learning about Docker, I found there are so many good resources available on the internet. Like you can go to Google, YouTube. There are a lot of videos and articles you found. You will find that. But this is a Docker handbook, which is I believe which is enough for you to understand Docker from scratch to some good advanced level stuff. It's not just another documentation or Docker handbook you have. It's just like starting from the very basic, how the Docker containers actually works, how what is the idea behind Docker, how it actually started, what is the architecture of it, how you can set up it, and container, and a lot of stuff, and each and every command that you should know as a beginner and as an advanced person to work with Docker containers and images. I believe this is really good uh, resources for anyone who want to learn Docker. And I really want to share these resources with all the people who are really interested into Docker, learning those stuff. So this is From my side, it's a really good resource which I found. You can go and check it out. And this one is something like not specifically system design, but it's the idea of creating these resources is to focus on the preparing for the system design resources, uh, which is good and it's created by the Byte Go. What I found is more than system design interviews. It's actually a package of everything from communication protocols to CI/CD pipelines, architectures, and database. You can learn about different parts of software, like how database works, how the backend application connected to it, how API communicate, and what are the security premises that you have to take care of, and what are the protocols like REST API, GraphQL, how these things works, what exactly happens when particular API communicate with server, and once you get the response. So it's really give you the depth understanding of it. So it's a really good resource. You should definitely read. I started with communication protocols and CI/CD, so it's really good. And also it has practical examples just like Netflix tech stack and how Netflix actually handle that so much traffic of that. So I think it's really good GitHub repository that you can keep in mind while preparing your system design interviews, or in general if you want to learn those things. There is a long list actually, from cloud services, Linux, microservices, and real world case studies, like a bunch of stuff. So it's really good resources. And the last one is newsletter. I already subscribe it. If you want to subscribe, you can do that, but if you don't want, you can directly go and read these resources from their portal. What this resource is about, again, it's a system design, but not specifically. You will learn more about focus on how to build a scalable backend application, like what is Redis, what is API, how JWT tokens works. And one thing which I found really interesting about this resource is like the way they explain things. If you go and if you read some resources, so you can see, you can get videos, you can get text, YouTube videos as well, and the images specifically, which helps you to think and understand like how actual workflow works, how API works, how it's communicate with the servers hosted somewhere AWS EC2 machines or somewhere, and how you get response, and it's actually give the complete picture of the behind scene what happens. And you should know, as a backend developer, you should know about those things. So I found it useful, and I recently started with it. I recently found it on Twitter last week, and I read some of the articles, and I believe like it's more than 59, like it's 59 articles available there. So there are a bunch of stuff that you can learn. Pick any resources whichever you found like you think it's good for you, and start learning it. I think it's something that you should learn or should explore on the weekend. So yeah, these are some few resources which I found useful and which I want to share for this weekend. Looking forward some new resources to found. Suggest some new resources if you found it useful. I will definitely share. Put comments in the descriptions. I will go through it. And thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.